Grace and peace, everyone. This is Charles here with another Midweek Recharge. And this week, I'm going to talk to you about a lesser-known character that's in the scroll of Genesis. He appears briefly in a poem in Psalm, and then comes back again in the letter to the Hebrews. And this character is Melchizedek. Now, some of you may be familiar with that name. Others of you, not so much. So Melchizedek is described in Genesis when he's introduced as the king of Salem and priest of the Most High God. Now, Melchizedek is introduced as an individual that celebrates Abraham when Abraham returns from rescuing his nephew Lot from a coalition of forces, kind of the original axis of evil. There were these five wicked kings that got together and tried to kill Lot and his family, and by extension Abraham, as they are kind of encroaching on their territory. And so Abraham is on his way back from having rescued Lot, and this king of Salem comes out and greets him and celebrates him and blesses him. And so in turn, Abraham acknowledges him and acknowledges this encounter by giving him a tenth of the spoils that Abraham got from this war, this victory that he just won. And so all of this seems fairly familiar. There's a priest and he's anointing a person, and they're giving a tenth, and all of that sounds like very kind of standard sort of Jewish custom that a lot of us still use in modern Christian circles today. But what's important to keep in mind is that the law hadn't yet been given. There's no Moses, there's no Aaron, there's no Isaac, there's no Jacob, there's no 12 tribes. It's just Abraham and Lot. But God is establishing a principle through Melchizedek. And what the writer of the letter to the Hebrews says is Jesus came according to the order of Melchizedek. And so if you're going to be a priest after the order of Melchizedek, you have to be a king of righteousness, you have to be a king of peace, and you have to be the high priest. And the only other individual to ever fill that role was Jesus. And Jesus takes it to the next level because Melchizedek came to an end. His priesthood stopped. Jesus' priesthood doesn't stop. It's forever. So my challenge to you this week is to consider those kind of lesser known instances, those encounters maybe that we had in life that we just sort of dismissed, like, it was meaningless, when it could have been that God was establishing a principle of a larger truth that was to come down the line. Maybe you looked over a Melchizedek previously in your life that God was using to establish a greater principle with lasting impact. Let that be your recharge.